Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Bronkie The Bronchiasaurus for Super Nintendo. We are now on the last level, the caves. And this is going to be a pretty nasty level if we don't know what we're up against. First of all, we gotta stay away from that steam that's coming out of the ground there, because that will trigger our asthma and make it hard to see. Also, I want to take care of this guy from a distance too. Definitely do not want to have and trigger your asthma in any way whatsoever while you're in here, because it can get notoriously dark to see. If you're careful, the screen will get pretty dark if you're not careful. And that's definitely something you don't want to deal with. Also want to watch out for the chemical drips too. Also have these guys that leap around as they move back and forth, and they can headbutt you if you're too close to them. I've rarely gotten them to do that though, but still. And at least here, we can tell where we're going. By the way, the narrow parts of the pipe platforms, if you walk into those, you will fall through them. So you want to keep that in mind. Now we have two guys who have a cold, patrolling this little area here. Not a fun thing to deal with. Also want to get up here first. Replenish that little bit of health. And thankfully these crushers don't do a lot of damage. So at least you have that to be thankful for. Now you do want to go up here, because there was a guy with a part of the wind machine that we saw below us early in the level, and that's where he is. When is it okay to participate in school or social activities? When my asthma is under control. Let's go ahead and grab that wind machine part and then drop back down. Now from here, we can go over here and get an extra hit if we need to. Now you wouldn't be able to drop down here if you hadn't gotten the wind machine part. Thankfully we did. At least the games are, not the games, but the stages are pretty linear to a point. And it's not too hard to find your way around in case you do get lost. So at least the game has that going for it. I also want to go up here too, because that's where I'm going to find the inhaler. I did hit condition red on the practice run. I'll talk more about it after I do this question. When your asthma is controlled and peak flows in the green zone, exercise can help me stay healthy. As I was saying, I actually hit condition red in the practice run, and believe you me, it was not a very good thing to deal with. Also, I'm going to get the sick plan just in case, even though we're obviously not going to need it because we're near the end. And I think if you're in the red for too long, you will die. So you want to be careful about that. Also, when you drop down a area that looks just like the one I was in, you pretty much reached the end of the stage. So we're doing so well so far. Next two stages aren't going to be any easier, sadly. And we got another hint. Some Olympic athletes and professional football players have asthma and they perform well. If you know how to take care of your asthma, you can be an athlete too. So it's good to know that asthma doesn't wreck your life once you're diagnosed with it. That's always a good thing to know. And we already know about all the chemical, not chemical, but the allergy triggers. But we don't know is these bubbles. That's the first time we're seeing these. They pop after a while, so you have to know when they pop, or else you're going to have a hard time going through here. Now you want to take the lower path first, because you can see you'll reach the guy with the wind machine parts. There's also a couple of crushers here, but thankfully we're being careful here. There's nothing up there, by the way, so we can just avoid that guy altogether and just go to the left and get the wind machine part. Sports and asthma are fine if my asthma is under control. So now we can get up here and take this upper path. Definitely don't want to be too close to that guy because he will bring us to yellow if we're not careful. We also want to stay away from the cat too. And I thought that guy was going to take damage, but apparently not. I will use my breath attack though to take care of him. And by dropping down here, we'll get some more of these little dinosaur bones that act as platforms. Believe it or not, the dinosaur bones do act as platforms. You want to be careful on them though. Some of them are smaller than others, but at least you don't have to worry about them, you know, breaking on you. Which would be terrible if they did. Thankfully, they're pretty solid for the most part. And I want to get the sick day plan just in case. So in case I do get sick or something, I can use it. Take care of that thing. That thing. That thing. I got more than enough breath attacks to go around. I do want to save them all though, because I'll be needing them pretty soon. There's the sick day plan. I'm gonna have to get up there and grab it, you know, just in case I manage to get sick near the end. I can use it, because I'd like to be condition green this whole time. And here's another guy we can use as a platform. You want to join a softball team and the coach is worried about your asthma. What can you say? Usually I have early warning signs my asthma is getting worse. I know how to take care of my asthma. Both of those things are good. Let's choose all of these. And let's ride this guy to the end. What's funny is that when I was losing health, I thought it was because of stalactites and I just forgot to duck. Turns out that the stalactites are part of the foreground and they don't even hurt you. I was actually at condition red, and it actually sapped away my health for some reason. So you definitely don't want to be in the red at all when it comes to your peak flow. And I'm doing so much better this time around than in the practice run because I pretty much figured out where everything is. And now it's time for the third stage, which is pretty short. If you have questions about your asthma, or if you have worries or other feelings, it can help if you talk with your family, friends, nurse, or doctor. Very, very sound advice to close this game out on. Let's get this third stage out of the way already. Alright. Take care of this guy, and this guy. Oh. They don't do a lot of damage, but I still would like to not be hit by them. And that took care of the guy ahead of me. There we go. There, got rid of him now. So all we need to do here is take these platforms to the other end. Now thankfully we can stand on this, and believe it or not, there is a hand pointing up on the wall. If you jump towards it, head to the right, breath attack, health refill, extra hit. And thankfully I knew where I was going to drop, so that way I could drop onto this platform and get the inhaler. What should you do if you have trouble breathing just when your family is leaving for a trip? Tell them how I feel. And now we can ride the lava all the way to the other end. Oh, I do not like this guy. Let's jump over this guy for now, so that way we can avoid the guy with the cold and get the last wind machine piece. If you feel like you're the only kid who has asthma, you can find out about asthma camps and support groups. Good advice. Ask my nurse or doctor if they have other patients my age. Also good advice. So, all of these. So let's go ahead and drop down here. I'm gonna wait for this bubble to respawn so that way I can actually use it. And then try our best to do some actual platforming here. Now, this just led us straight back. We saw the door that blocked our way early before. But you're probably wondering where to go now. Well, these bubbles will show you the way. There is a lower path that you will have to take. And take it we will. Go ahead and take care of this guy. Apparently I was in no need of health replenishment. Can't believe I didn't see the sick plan icon. That surprises me. I don't even know where it is. I never was able to find it in the practice run. And watch out here for that last chemical drip, because it will catch you off guard if you're not paying attention. And we've done pretty well through the game, for the most part. I'm glad. Now we have to take on the boss of the final level. We're getting very, very close to the end now. We're basically there. We get to take on the secretary. We have no idea what she looks like. Mary says she likes wig shopping and juggling small animals. Yes, it's a she. I'm actually spoiling that on purpose, because I've just played through the game prior to actually recording this. Now, these huge blobs in the center, they don't trigger your asthma, but they do damage you. Thankfully, you can stand in front of the desk and still keep using your breath attacks to attack her and knock her wig and her little hairpin off, the hairpin that she throws at you. Thankfully, you can attack it with the breath attack along with her and make her look amazingly easy. We finally got all 6 parts. And now, we're going to have to take on Mr. Rexo himself, who we know nothing about, except for his hobbies, world domination and eating anything. And here's what you do. You hit the switch with the Y button, grab a part. This guy will block your path. You do not want to run into him. What you want to do is use your breath attack to stun him. Jump over his tail, otherwise his tail will knock you back no matter what, even if he is stunned. And we put the first part right here. We're going to have to do this with 5 more parts. So jump on his tail to get launched back here, hit the switch, grab another part, breathe on him again, stand on his sweater, jump over that tail, and make sure it doesn't knock you back. Thankfully, he's stunned for a good while. Stunned just long enough for you to get to the other side of him. And from there, you should pretty much have it all figured out what you need to do. Of course, as you go further and further, you will have to trek longer and longer to place the parts where they need to be placed. And you will have to do some climbing. But thankfully, once you're past Mr. Rexo there, you can just take your sweet time and do what you need to do to get the part where they need to be. Thankfully, it's impossible to mess this up. The game will place the part automatically when you're in its proper place. You don't have to worry much about that. It's not like you really need to memorize it or anything. Matter of fact, figuring out where stuff is placed is pretty easy for the most part. Just walk to where the dotted line is. Once you have a part, you'll know where to go. And I can just go to the left and just drop down here and just hit the tail again to get that part there. Breathe on him again. And get past him where he's guarding the wind machine so we can place that 5th part there. This is probably the hardest part of getting around, just getting on the little climbable areas. And we have 1 more part to place. Once we place it, we are done with this game. So just jump on the sweater again, jump over to the tail cleanly, so that way it doesn't knock you back, because it will knock you back even when Mr. Rexo is stunned. And now all we need to do is just make our way to the last dotted line shape And we have beaten Bronkie the Bronchiasaurus. We get a little one-screen ending where the mayor gives us the key to the city. We both get a little medal of courage and heroism. And you can actually skip this screen just by pressing B. I'm going to let it run a while just so you can kind of soak this in a little bit. Oh, it just continues on its own. Okay, it just kicks you straight to the credits. You don't have to press B. Alright. Well, the credits you can go through with the B button. And I might as well go ahead and mention my thoughts on this game while I go through them. It's an okay game. It's not perfect. The credits also run by themselves. You don't have to press B. Alright. You will need some hand-eye coordination for this game. It's not like Mario's Time Machine or Mario is Missing, where you have to use very minimal, if any, hand-eye coordination. You will be doing a lot of platforming, and you will be worrying about a lot of dangerous bottomless pits between the first world and the last one. Bosses are pretty easy. The controls are pretty good for the most part. Though I did have the occasional problem with grabbing onto a ladder of some sort, whether it be vertical or horizontal. And sound and music are pretty okay. And if I wanted to play this again, I'd play it just to get all the asthma facts more than likely. Not for any real platforming challenge, even though I didn't exactly like the level design through the entire middle of the game. But once you beat this game, unless you really wanted to, there's not really much of a reason to beat it again. Except just because you can. So there's not much in the replay value. Sound and music are pretty decent. Graphics are okay. I do like the fact that the screen does get darker when your asthma triggers are triggered, and it is pretty realistic. Kinda, I don't know, I've never had asthma. But it can be a huge hurdle in some places more than others, especially the caves where it can get pretty difficult to see. But other than that, it's an okay game. I wouldn't say I recommend it, but it's not bad. It kind of does what it's supposed to in terms of teaching children about asthma. There was actually a study done with this game back in 1998, and it just plays the same demo over and over. Might as well just go ahead and switch to the options menu then. There was a study done with this game in 1998 where they had two control groups of kids. One that played the game and the other that didn't. And the kids who played through the game, they were 4 times less likely to require urgent care than the kids who didn't. So at least the game has done its job in terms of asthma education for kids in a way. And of course, in case anyone wonders, all the kids in the control groups were between the ages of 8 and 16. So, there you go. Anyway, that is pretty much it for Let's Play Bronkie the Bronchiasaurus for Super Nintendo. Hopefully I will be back with another game. Don't know what it's going to be. Haven't thought of it yet. But hopefully I will be back with another game. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, thanks for watching, and see you guys later!